Welcome to Newscope. My name is Joy Ubani. We're live on Star Times channel 103 and also our social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube. We promise you interesting reports. On our lineup tonight, this month is specially dedicated to women around the world. Of course, I'm happy to be one. We shall also bring spotlights from the riverine areas. Also in the kitty tonight is a cry for help as babies are abandoned at the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital. All this and more come your way shortly after this news segment. Please stay. Welcome to the news. Now, the Labour Party in Akwa Ibom State has refuted an alleged collapse of its political structures in favor of Umeno of the People's Democratic Party ahead of the governorship elections. The Labour Party governorship candidate Udwago Bong Peter Udo said this in a swift reaction to the viral reports.
For some time now, media reports on political actors jostling for prominence and acceptability by the electorate have been agog via the traditional and the new media. This is actually not unconnected with the fact that the elections are here and there are efforts to outsmart one another and, if possible, tarnish the image of the opposing political actors.
Yeah, the news reaching me, the propaganda flying all around the state that I have surrendered my structure to PDP. Some are even saying that I have collapsed my structures to the APC. It's completely false. I want to state here that I, Udwago Peter Udo, the governorship candidate of the Labour Party, we are still on. And with the support we have, I cannot betray Akwa Ibomite.
The Labour Party in Akwa Ibom State received with shock reports that it collapsed its structure for the PDP candidate Umoino, and the party, while speaking to NTA News, says the statement is fallacious and does not reflect the thoughts of the party ahead of the polls.
I'm pleading to Akwa Ibomite, they should please continue with their good work. What they did for us the last election, they should do even more, and they should continue praying for me, praying for Labour Party candidates across the country. We are going to win this election. This election is winnable. And we promise that we will secure that vote. And the mandate you gave to our principal, Peter Obi, we are getting it back. So no cause for alarm. We are strong, we are solidly on ground, and we are even moving better than in the faster speed than before.
The party says it remains committed to delivering the people of the state from the clutches of godfatherism and poor leadership into the glory fought by the founding fathers of the state. The Labour Party, the gubernatorial candidate says, is a movement and will so remain to deliver leadership built on integrity and good governance. In Uyo, Oku, Epeyong, NTA News.
Still on politics, the city of Benin was agog as the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi arrived the city on a thank you visit to the people. Eugenia Ndubisi reports that Peter Obi during the visit called on supporters to come out en masse to vote in House of Assembly candidates of the party on March 18.
Mr. Obi's thank you train from Ramat Park through New Benin Mission Road and the King Square, waving the party fans and supporters who have come to welcome him. His mission to Benin alongside other national executive members is to appreciate the party supporters for massively voting the Labour Party during the presidential and National Assembly elections. The Labour Party candidate also used the opportunity to canvass votes for the candidates of the party in forthcoming House of Assembly election.
You should vote all the candidates of Labour Party.
His message to the obedient family is simple: to remain peaceful, law-abiding, and pray for the actualization of a new Nigeria, which he says is possible. In Benin, Eugenia Ndubisi, NTA News.
Away from politics, amid the uncertainty in cash transaction, business owners in Ado, the Ekiti state capital, have appealed to Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to give clear court directives to commercial banks in the issuance of old Naira notes in view of the recent judgment of the Supreme Court. Olukemi Sani visited the major center of commerce in the town and reports that many are still rejecting the old Naira notes.
Welcome to Ojoba Market, the commercial now center of Ado Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital. Huge buying and selling of various commodities and items. But we wonder which of the currencies are acceptable here, the old or the new Naira notes.
People should announce it, make it known to everybody that this Naira should be spendable. Because we have the money, it's not that we don't have it here, so we have it, but they are not collecting it. Please, look at it.
As we get some traders that are not accepting the old currencies, Kenneth here, who sells cosmetics, accepts both old and new currency. Why do you accept the old currency?
I accept it because of there's no markets and there's no cash on town. And to come to the transfer, if they want to do transfer, network will know okay. Instead of hungry to kill us, so accept it because of there's no cash.
Ariola Oloroje is a popular trader in Ojoba Market. She accepts only the new Naira notes.
It's only new Naira note that they accept in bank. The old notes, we took it to bank yesterday, they didn't accept it.
I have here Peter, who is ready to collect both the old and the new Naira notes.
The news told me that I should be collecting it. That's why I decided to collect the money.
Same Ojoba Market, where Peter collects both the old and the new Naira notes. Felix Ineji, who sells second-hand clothing, says he doesn't collect the old Naira notes.
If I collect it and if I take it to the bank will not welcome it. They will not collect it. That's just what we are suffering now. Even the queue in the bank will not even give you access to enter.
What is the implication of the current situation where two currencies are legal tender, but at the same time, Nigerians are not sure which to collect?
Central Bank, Supreme Court has made the pronouncement. The President has not said anything specific. No pronouncement from Central Bank. That's why people are confused. So let's wait till that particular monetary policy committee we meet. And then Central Bank will now table the pronouncement of Supreme before their board. So by that time, maybe they are going to comply. And then now, everybody will know that this currency remains a legal tender.
One thing is certain in Ojoba Market. Both the old and new notes are acceptable depending on whose store you are and which commodities you are buying. In Ado Ekiti, Olukemi Sani, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Olukemi Sani, for that report from Ado Ekiti. Still on cash scarcity, activities at the Akemfa Axis of Yenogua Mbiama Road came to a halt as some residents of Yenogua took to the streets to register their grievances over untold hardship occasioned by limited cash circulation. Aya Prizi reports that the protest caused heavy traffic obstruction, both motorists and other commuters.
That song of protest speaks volume of the hardship experienced by citizens whose survival is now dependent on the whims and caprices of commercial banks and POS agents. Protesters will say they are tired of the unnecessary pains imposed by traders' unwillingness to accept the old 500 and 1,000 naira notes and high charges of POS agents. Call on Bayelsa State government to intervene before the situation gets out of hands.
Nowhere to eat, nowhere to eat, nowhere to spend the money. Yesterday I used this money to go to Tombia. Tombia people said they will not collect this old money.
If you want withdraw 10,000, they go tell you say your charge now 4,000 naira. You and POS person go they share your money. I go buy Gary, they not gree say Gary for me. They not gree take old money. This one are the evidence for yeah. Now also, since money I never eat food.
But look at our market women now. Due to the bank listing, bank will give them old money. Then Kekele they collect them. So we got that thing now, they think they worry everybody. Now they say more can go CPN.
So we are just pleased and beg the governor to come and just give us the order so I can spend this money.
From now till Sunday, we are giving him deadline. From now till Sunday, if we not hear from him on Monday, we are going out again. And that one, nobody will stop us.
Efforts to reach Bayelsa State government officials on plans of government over the situation was not successful. Meanwhile, security operatives had been drafted to maintain peace and order at the time of filing this report. In Yenagoa, Aya, Brazil, NG News.
Meanwhile, as Nigerians still struggle to lay their hands on the new Naira notes, the average Nigerian is being faced with the cash scarcity and rising prices of goods and foodstuff on a day-to-day basis. A correspondent in this report x-rays the hardship residents and business operators are facing these days.
Uncertainty still persists around the cash swap issue among Uyo residents as the old Naira notes are rejected amidst the scarcity of the redesigned notes. The situation is however worrisome as many automated teller machines at banks have been inactive or they only do transfers and other services but not dispensing cash. In an interview at some markets and business outlets, some traders and business owners lament poor sales, attributing it to the scarcity of Naira notes.
It's affecting us seriously. Can we make a day, before we are making, maybe before afternoon you can make some money, cash. But now, before it, you can't make anything now.
Sometimes somebody will come here to buy something and sometimes she wants to transfer, the transfer will not go. I will take that person to POS, they will charge 200 naira charge. So the thing really affects me. Like that day, I bought 5,000, they collected 1,500. Like today, buy 5,000, they collected 2,000 from me.
You don't see where to buy and how to buy the stuff. You have the money and you cannot, people are not accepting transfer. The market women are not transfer, and so there are petty things that doesn't really need transfer. You need the cash flow. So the cashless policy is really affecting everybody.
Some residents say they think that the Supreme Court's order, which generated heated debate among Nigerians, would ease the tension and restore normalcy.
Transfer network is very bad. Transfer. Some people that transfer money since last week till now, some people never enter. No alerts, no money if we even hang, can't see any transfer. So I'm making the transfer, we no go. The network was bad. And what we are making now is very bad for us as a businessman. The bank themselves does not collect. If you take the money, the old money that they dispense back to the bank, they will not collect. So it makes this woman, and most of them said that they are expecting the president or the central bank governor to say something before they could accept. So
imagine now, bank will pay customer old currency, but they will not collect that old currency back. So that is confusion in Nigeria. By the grace of God, some people are responsive, they are receptive by collecting transfer. Some are looking for cash. Like I have buy and do transfer and they give me extra charge on that, which is trying to give me a shortage on my planning. And if you can see in our society today, people are going to buy cash and they are buying 1,000, okay, 600 at 400, meaning instead of giving 1,000, they are giving 600. So that's alone. It's not helping the society, it's not helping the people.
The people are, however, pleading with government to make the new notes available to ease the cash scarcity.
The price is increasing now. Some things are increasing. Some I'm just standing. Come no increase, no reduction, just stand.
Please, I'm begging the government to intervene, a kind of give orders from the presidency to give orders so that this money can be released. Because it's, I understand that the Supreme Court said they should start using the money back, but the banks are not accepting. The banks are not accepting. So the money issue is really becoming a dilemma in the state and everywhere.
What is the problem? I will let the president or CBN governor come out and speak for us. Tell us to take this old money, or let them print, let them provide the new money. So people, money will circulate. People will stop this suffering that we are passing through.
The problem of getting cash is general, and Nigerians are hoping that things will not get worse as day goes by. In Uyo, Uwemedi Mo Samson, NTA News.
Normally in Akwa Ibom State, traders in various markets usually smile to the bank as buyers troop to the market to buy food items and goods. However, these are not normal times, as some Gari traders in Uyo who lament poor patronage, however, say purchasing Gari now is a compulsory exchange for the community. Uwemedi Mo Samson has reasons in this report.
Despite the harsh economic situation occasioned by the cash swap, market traders and residents try to run their businesses as usual, but things, they say, are not the same. For Gari sellers in Uyo, consumers of Gari are having a tough time with them, but some of the sellers at the market around Uyo state some of the reasons they do not accept cash transfers from customers.
Because of this money problem, because of this transfer, they add money for us. How we buy it and how we used to buy it before. So now we are selling, before we used to sell 4 cups at 200 naira. Now we are selling 2.5 at 200 because of the transfer, because of the money problem.
It didn't really affect me because I did not have cash to go and buy Maggi. It's not everybody that are collecting transfer from their business. So I cannot go and buy market to bring it to my shop. That is why it affects. Even though it's Gari, yeah, people that are going out to go and buy it in another state, they did not collect transfer because of the old women that are doing the Gari. They don't need transfer.
The cashless policy really affects us generally. Before we do sales, people will come to the market, buy from us. They give us money. But now, we will say in the morning till night, we can't sell because everybody wants to do transfer. Although when we want to go to the village to get the Gari from Atam, people there, they don't collect transfer. They want physical cash. So they think it's really, really affecting us.
The traders, on their part, say the price of Gari has increased due to high cost of transportation, fuel scarcity, and cash scarcity, as the wholesale traders demand for physical cash before purchasing goods.
We beg government now to put help and help us to reduce everything, add money in the bank so that people will go there and reduce money and buy things from us, because there's no market, we cannot say people are not buying, they need transfer from us.
If I want to collect transfer, I will charge from the transfer. If they want to do POS, I will charge like 200 if they want to buy something of 1,000. I'm begging them to just release this money for us so that we can maintain our customer.
You can see, by now, today Saturday, you'll be seeing people rushing in to buy things. But now, just look at it, you will not see people. People are passing by. Everybody wants to do transfer. But not to do the transfer is bad. But when we do the transfer, how are we going to withdraw the money and go to the market, to the village and buy Gari?
In all, the traders look forward to better days while hoping on government for quick interventions through the return of the availability of the new Naira notes. In Uyo, Uwemedi Mo Samson, NTA News.
And now to sports updates. Bade Adeleye is our guide.
The Nigeria under-18 male handball team finished third in the under-18 category of the IHF Trophy Intercontinental Championship 2023 in Costa Rica after a slim 28-27 loss to Georgia Sunday morning. The Nigerian boys had a chance of winning the title and also qualifying for the IHF Under-20 World Championship, but the Georgians proved to be the brick wall. This is Nigeria's first defeat in the IHF Trophy Challenge since they lost against Chinese Taipei in Kosovo in 2019. And to football, Super Eagles defender William Troost-Ekong is set to be omitted from Nigeria's squad for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations two-legged qualifiers against Guinea-Bissau. The on-loan Watford centre-back is still recuperating from the injury he sustained in Salernitana's Serie A clash against Hellas Verona last month, with Super Eagles coach Jose Pesero, who is in Italy to monitor some Nigerian players, confirming that the defender is not yet fit and has little chance of making his squad for the game against the Jotters. And finally, boxing promoter Eddie Earn has broken his silence on the poor ticket sales for Anthony Joshua's April 1 clash with Jermaine Franklin at the O2 Arena in London. Despite instantly selling out the 20,000-seater in the past, there are still thousands of tickets left less than 3 weeks to Joshua's upcoming bout. But Earn claims the arena will be packed out on fight night, putting the poor sales down to the fact that they haven't given out tickets to the undercard fighters. With Sports Update, Bade Adeleye, NT News.
And that's the news. Newscope will continue shortly after this break. Be stay. Much for joining us on our Newscope. Now we start with the Women's Day. The inclusion of more women in governance is becoming a global concern. The United Nations in this quest is reminding world leaders of the need to involve women in decision making to promote a better society. And Efiok Edet in this special report tells us more on the challenges still facing women in governance and the need to become more relevant.
The International Women's Day has been observed since the early 90s with the vision of great expansion of radical ideologies among women. However, women oppression and inequality in the society is spurring women to become more vocal and active in campaigning for change, leading to minimized stereotype. It is on this note that the International Women's Day is marked every year to remind women of their role in the society.
Basically for women to assess how far they've gone in terms of development and inclusion, that is equality. The theme is about the importance of technology in the lives of women, how we can leverage on it to achieve our goals.
It's for gender equality, to tell women about their rights, to tell women that they are not oppressed by the men, that we have a right in the society.
As the world moves to digital technology, the women are also expected to move with the train.
Rural women have been informed and encouraged to acquire telephones.
At this time that Nigeria is venturing into the era of cashless economy, they will now learn how to make use of their phones to receive money, to transfer money, and there wouldn't be issues.
2023 International Women's Day is focused on digital innovation and technology for gender equality. The question is, how many women are digital compliant?
In time past, women were struggling how to use phone, and with this, all these Yahoo men, they can't dupe us again because we can stay at home. As this a cashless period, we can do transaction with our phone.
With this theme, digital innovation and technology for gender equality, Nigerian women are expected to explore technology and digit the world. In Uyo, Aniefiok Edet, NTA News.
Of course, with all this awareness, I believe that the challenges facing women will gradually fade out. Thank you, Aniefiok, for that special report. Moving ahead, many great men have tales of humble beginning to tell, a fact that buttresses the saying that a diligent hawker today can be a great tycoon tomorrow. Most often, the tales of grace to grace reflect hard work, diligence, perseverance, and staunch determination, and such is the story of the House of Representative member-elect of Kaura Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. Ben Mitiu now brings us that report.
Going by its size and the number of its occupants, who are mostly peasant farmers, one will be surprised that the village of Fafon Safiom Park, a suburb of Kaguru in Kaura local government area of Kaduna State, will now be in the news for having a son as a member of the House of Representatives, Mr. Donatus Matthew, who defeated an incumbent who has been in the Green Chamber for about 2 decades. After his secondary education in the 90s, Donatus, fondly known as Digester, joined his peers in what was the most thriving business of commercial motorcycle operation, popularly known as Okada riding, where he struggled for over a decade. Mr. Matthew cut his political teeth in 2007 when he was appointed a supervisory councillor, and in 2012 he contested and won the councillorship seat of Park Ward in Kaura Local Government Council. And when his tenure elapsed in 2014, he went back to farming, while at the same time engaging in local politics and schooling, as he now backs BSc in philosophy.
I have never been at peace like while I was doing the Okada, because no matter what it takes, every day, at least I will have something to feed my family. I'm very proud of that business. But you see, even when I was appointed a supervisory councillor, there were days that I cannot feed my family.
As it is often said, fate bends rules for its heroes. And so it was for Mr. Matthew, the Okada rider, who used his Okada for campaigns and went into the battle for his constituency, not fully sure of winning, but to fill a vacuum in the Labour Party. And to his surprise, today he is the member-elect, Kaura Federal Constituency in the 10th Assembly.
We went round, we told them what should be expected of us, that we want to change the narratives. We want to do something new. We want to carry everybody along. We want to bring sanity in Kaura local government, and people key into our ideologies, and we are convinced.
It is easy to look at him and assume that he is lucky in life, but those who know his story can vividly give account of how he never gave up, and even at the most despairing circumstances.
Interestingly, from grass to grace, congratulations on your winning. Now, this report is a very sympathetic one. After 9 months of nurturing babies in the womb, mothers are said to have this special love and feelings for their newborn. Where is this feeling of a mother who abandons her baby after giving birth, not minding what becomes of that child. Clement Barikwi brings us a trending story at the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, where 6 children have been abandoned with 1 year, and it's a cry for help. Over to you, Clement.
Her arrival brings joy and celebration to her family. This, unfortunately, has not been the case with many of her type, who find themselves in the care of another person simply because they were abandoned by their parents at birth.
I wouldn't do a thing like that. Instead, I would look for money anywhere to pay up my bill and then go back home with my baby.
It's a bad situation anyway, and I guess in situations like that, the government has to be involved.
And they did not even know the destiny of these children.
The University of Uyo Teaching Hospital is already having a fair share of baby abandonment. In 2022 alone, not less than 6 children were abandoned in the hospital by their biological mothers.
We have been able to successfully put out some of these babies. If 1 or 2 have passed on, but I think majority of them did survive. We're able to put out these babies for adoption, and but there are still also 1 or 2 still left in the wards.
Baby Gift has spent 6 years in the hospital. Her case is more pathetic because she is suffering from what medical experts call neurological disorder. Her mother dumped her at the staircase of the pediatrics world at the age of 2 upon discovering her health condition.
Baby cannot sit, cannot meet up with a developmental milestone, which may be the reason why the mother ran away and left the baby behind.
So we took the baby to the state social welfare. And when we took the baby there, they saw that the baby was physically challenged. They said that they have no facility to take care of physically challenged children.
So it was really, pressing on us and having to spend sometimes about 200,000-300,000 naira every month, just for the upkeep and, drugs for some of these babies. It was a very major challenge. I would say that, this whole issue of abandonment of babies is not something that's a bit alien to our culture.
Although our visit to the teaching hospital follows the outcry by management over incessant cases of child abandonment, our curious camera lens caught another source of concern: the abandonment of patients by relatives.
I thought after surgery, I will just go back due to what you've heard and make a plan to bury my wife. And now look at how I am.
This has become a common happening, and the health caregivers are worried.
He was supposed to go in for surgery, but because of financial constraints, initially the relatives were not even seen at all. I think it was last week when we were able to make contact with one of the sisters.
Bills were made, but he's not able to foot his bills, and nobody's coming from home to see him. So he's just living from hand to mouth and with the assistance of people in here.
These patients and abandoned children are not sure of where their next meals will come from. But the establishment of a social security net by governments at all levels, according to the hospital management, may just be their lifesaver. In Uyo, Clement Barikwi, NTA News.
Sad one there. Thank you very much for that report, Clement Barikwi. Moving ahead, riverine communities are a great asset in the nation, and developing them means developing the nation, as they present great values for agriculture, fisheries, transportation, and many more. While capturing her experience in the riverine community, Achibon Basi filed in this report.
Having grown up in an urban city like Calabar, I had minimal connection with rivers. However, My career as a journalist has exposed me to the river and what it feels like to live in a riverine community. Our journey to Ukwa Ebrutu, a riverine community in Odupani local government area of Cross River State, can best be likened to the proverbial climbing of 7 mountains, crossing the 7 seas, and traversing deserts.
Most of us come from a very difficult terrain. We have to pass through rivers, trek long distances to get to our destination.
We are deprived of basic amenities of life. No access road. You can see where we pass through to access our community.
It's like a nightmare. Sometimes the product they will get from the farms, the locals, it becomes a problem for them to transport them away for, to make ends meet.
The quest for the basic needs of life is a driving force for their massive turnout during the presidential and national assembly polls to contribute their quota in electing new leadership in Nigeria. Perhaps this would bring respite to their numerous challenges.
For us who are from predominantly riverine area and very difficult to reach, it's an opportunity to go back to our people and speak to them better and then feel their pulse and also understand the basic things that affect them.
After spending 2 days in the community and living their life, it is now time to go home. And the journey ahead of us is a 2-hour ride on a motorbike through the bushes to the Inyangibum riverbank, where we can board a canoe to the other side of the river where our vehicles were parked.
Wonderful experience there by Achibong Basi. Now, the planet Earth now faces a global extinction of crisis never witnessed by humankind. Scientists predict that more than 1 million species are on track for extinction in the coming decades. How this can be halted is the reason for this report as put together by Clement Barigui.
Wildlife and plants have inspired our histories, mythologies, languages, and how we view the world. The presence of wildlife brings joy and enriches us all. Wildlife conservationists believe each extinction makes the home a lonelier and colder place for us and future generations.
CITES helps the world to regulate international trade on endangered species of fauna and flora. Countries have quotas to trade in some species because the life of mankind is interwoven with nature. If we use those resources of the wild, we use it with a conservation undertone, wise use, we will not have any problem. We will be able to achieve the sustainable development goals of the United Nations.
I love wildlife because I believe that they make up the environment. And God created man and also created wildlife for us to coexist together. We benefit a lot from wildlife.
It's very unfortunate that we've allowed our animals go extinct, all because of our wild choices. That we're interested in wildlife and want to eat all of them. But it is against conservation interests, because conservation makes us know that it should be wise use of resources. Don't eat all, remains some for tomorrow.
8-year-old Andikan is a wildlife child ambassador, while 12-year-old Mfanobong is a child conservationist. Their love for wildlife makes them shed tears each time a story of extinction is told. That's because the environment of their generation is at risk of being swept away in the same way they may no longer see the beautiful monkeys, chimpanzees, green turtles, hippos, sea lions, and elephants, among others, in their natural habitats.
I have interest in them because I want to be
a veterinarian, which is a doctor for animals, because they're killing too many animals and I want to save them.
There are so many endangered animals out there and we feel pity for them because they are getting extinct right now, so we have to do some conservation and preservation to keep them up and bring more out so that they will not get extinct.
More than a century of habitat destruction, pollution, the spread of invasive species, overharvest from the wild, climate change, population growth and other human activities have pushed nature to the brink. Yet, experts believe it is still not late to correct the abnormality.
The world don't know that we have whales in Akwa Ibom State. The world doesn't know that we have dolphins in Akwa Ibom State. They don't know the marine mammals like manatee resident in different local government areas of Akwa Ibom State.
All that is required is continued partnerships for wildlife conservation. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
Now, away from wild extinction, we move ahead to a story of a gang rape. One can only imagine the pains and trauma a woman goes through in an event of rape. The story we're about telling you is not only a man raping a woman, but a gang rape carried out by 7 teenagers on a 16-year-old girl in Kudumu Demsa local government area of Adamawa State. Rianu Bala brings us the details.
Nowadays, people find it difficult to trust one another on the basis of betrayal on business or relationship. In this case, one may not be wrong to call it betrayal of confidence, cheating, or use any kind of adjective to qualify it. It is a clear case of conspiracy where a boyfriend connived with 6 of his friends to gang rape his 16-year-old girlfriend.
After sleeping with my girlfriend, my friends also say they want to have an affair with her. We notice our friend is with his girlfriend and we also want to enjoy ourselves.
The incident, which occurred in Kodomun, Demsa local government area of Adamawa State, is not only touching, but unimaginable in this modern time. The matter was reported to the police and all the 7 teenagers were arrested to face prosecution after investigation.
Young boys engages their victims and unfortunately had unlawful carnal knowledge of her. So immediately the Commissioner of Police directed Divisional Police Officer Demsa to commence investigations, and luckily 7 of them were apprehended. So he further directed that such case should be transferred to the highest investigative body, that is CID, where investigations has to be done diligently with a view of gathering both human and material evidences to prosecute them.
It's a wake-up call to the parents to monitor the movements of their children and the kinds of relationship they are into. In Iola, Rayanu Bala, NTA News.
Very pathetic for that young girl, and that's why we're saying that you should be a star. Join NTA's campaign to stand against rape and rapists. On that note, we say thank you very much for being part of our bulletin tonight. I hope you had an interesting time with us. Please join us again next week for another interesting package for Newscope. Until then, good night.
itself. Come, feel the luxury of our